Guys, Tommy here. So this video is a Bitcoin price analysis, basically how I've seen it move the past couple years and where I see it going. I do a lot of this type of analysis for myself. I figure you guys probably want to see this. And if you don't know, I keep my pulse on the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space pretty actively, especially from a financial standpoint. And I'll just say too, this video is not going to be perfect. I've been working on it on and off for several weeks, and I just know I have to get it out here for you guys. The Bitcoin price right now is about 775 or so, and we were in the 600s when I want to make this. So just forgive me in advance for any imperfections, but I figure you guys would appreciate my perspective on this here. So that being said, let's just get into it. So the first thing I want to point out here is just taking a good look at the big picture of Bitcoin. So in the past couple years especially. So the last 3 years until now, we had a bubble at the end of 2013, and then we had a downtrend for about a year, stabilizing for about a year, and then an uptrend in about a year. This is the big picture, and one of the main things I want to convey to you guys here is that we were in a bear market, and then we stabilized, and now we're in a bull market. This is really important. A lot of people don't realize this, especially people not active in the space. We are very much in a bull market for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. This is also relevant for any of you guys who want to get other people into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. It's really hard to convince people when it's going down or kind of stabilizing, but when it's going up, then there's some merit behind what you say. You know, some of us see the big picture, and we know we've seen Bitcoin's phenomenal growth throughout time. So it's obvious to us, and the technology is booming. It's obvious to us, but to a lot of people, they're more looking at the short terms, and this is something that you can now point out to other people if that's important to you. So anyhow, so I believe what happened here is largely due to supply and demand, just basic economics. So one way to look at that is to compare Bitcoin to the number of transactions that are occurring per day. So let's go back to the end of 2013 and take a look. So here we were hitting about a peak of about a 12 billion market cap. See if I can find it. Here we go. It's close to 12. About 77,000 transactions per day. It peaked at around 90,000 or so, something like that here, as you can see. But the point here is this was not sustainable. We didn't have enough active users or transactions occurring to sustain this market cap. And I'm looking at market cap and not price because I feel like it's more accurate representation because Bitcoin has some inflation. And that's actually a big part of this too. So as the price goes down here, a big part of that is inflation. Bitcoin had about little over a 10% inflation rate here. So if you have a 12 billion market cap and 10% inflation, that means you have to have $1.2 billion more new investment per year to sustain that price. That's a lot of money, and I believe that's why Bitcoin dwindled down here over the next year. It was too high of a price, too big of a market cap to be sustained. So here we go. Price goes down, and just some other data points here. Here we're at a 10 billion market cap, 53,000 volume per day, 53,000 transactions per day. Keep going down. And then this is our stabilization period, about January 2015. We're hitting around 100,000 transactions here per day with about a 3 billion market cap. So at this point, Bitcoin started stabilizing. So this is kind of an equilibrium level, and this is how Bitcoin was for a lot of the next year. This solid blue line is the graph here. You can see we're still about a 3 billion market cap here toward the end of 2015. Transactions are slowly increasing. Here we're at 130,000. And then here in early 2016, we're hitting about 200,000 transactions with about a 6 billion market cap. Just basically double what these numbers. These were 100,000 transactions and 3 billion market cap. Now we're at a 6 billion market cap and 200,000 transactions. So we're kind of seeing how Bitcoin stabilizes here. And this graph's a little funky. It doesn't really show the graphs too clearly, which is why I have, here's the price, and here's the transactions, kind of overlaid. I don't know why it does that. But anyway, you can pretty much see what's going on. And then fast forward to today, we're at the end of 2016. We're hitting close to 300,000 transactions per day with about a 12 billion market cap. So on that note too, this is a little faster growth than we had early on. So you might think we're a little overextended in market cap or price. because you might think, okay, 300,000 transactions, we should be about a 9 billion market cap. But there's two important things here to consider. First thing is we had a halving in July this year. What that does is essentially cut the inflation in half. So we previously were about a 10% inflation rate, now we're at a 5%, and that isn't exact, but it's a general idea. So rather than needing approximately $1 billion new dollars of investment per year, now we only need 500 million. That's a lot less new money needed per year, which can certainly help the price, and as you see, it is doing that. So that's the first point. The second point is that would assume a linear relationship between the number of transactions and the market cap of Bitcoin. Historically, this isn't the case though. So if we look here, we can see this line is the number of transactions, and this line below it, here initially below it, is the price of Bitcoin. So we can kind of see that the trend is the price of Bitcoin is passing that. So we can expect the market cap or price of Bitcoin to exceed the number of users in terms of rate of growth. So those are the two major points I'd say. So on that note, I'd say we're at about a fair price right now. Another point I want to point out to you guys, in summer of 2013, this was another period that we had some good stability in Bitcoin. But basically our user base currently is about 7 times greater than what it was then. So again, our market, and here if you look, our transactions were about 50,000 or so. We know we're about 300,000, so that's about 6 times right there. And we can also look at active users if we like. Let's see. And it reflects a similar data point here. Active addresses about 60, 70,000, and we're around 600,000. So that's almost a 10 times growth. So we can see that those data points are fairly similar. The point is, again, let's just be conservative. Say about a 7 times increase in user base, I'd say would be pretty accurate. And the market cap's about 12 times higher. But once again, with the halving accounted for, I'd say the price is pretty fair right now. And of course, this was a period that it was stable right before it bubbled. So I'd say, again, right now, we have a price of around $775. I'd say this is a fair price for Bitcoin. I'd say in about a year, a fair price would be over $1,400. And the year after that would be $2,300. Of course, keep in mind that a bubble can occur anytime, and the bubbles tend to occur, of course, when we have a bull market going on, and then buyers start climbing over buyers to take advantage of the profits. So now there's one major wild card I'll mention here, and that's the block size limit. So Bitcoin is hitting its transaction capacity here. The block size limit's about a megabyte. We are hitting the ceiling here. Basically, what this is doing is it's limiting the number of transactions that can occur. You're seeing we're hitting about 300,000 a day. That's quite near the limit. So this is more a discussion for another video, but it's being worked on being resolved, and it's also not the end of the world. There are other Bitcoin alternatives there, which in a worst case scenario, if Bitcoin's blocks are full, the transactions could just overflow to these alternatives. And some of these alternatives are quite novel and have quite a bit of potential too. But again, that's discussion for another video. So again, just to recap here, we're looking at the, if I can go to it, the market cap and price of Bitcoin, just to show you here the similarities between them. This reflects the inflation. This is why the price is lower than the market cap. But as you can see here, once again, we were in a downtrend for about a year, stabilizing for a year, and then now we're in an uptrend or a bull market. So that's the main takeaway I want to give you guys here. And again, it's backed by simple economics because our user base here is about 7 times larger than it was in summer 2013, maybe 6 times larger than it was here. So we have quite a bit larger user base in play to support these higher prices now, and that's why the price is going up. And so that's it. So hopefully it's been helpful to you guys. Again, I know it's not perfect, but hopefully you guys got the message. If you guys liked the video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.